Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 83 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Yes, you are Sam.
You felt the need to confirm that?
Hey, spring sprung, and then it left.
It sprung and then it unsprung.
It did. It was so beautiful. We had
oh my gosh,
this stretch of 4 beautiful high 60s. Then yesterday it was almost 80.
Yeah. Seriously,
sunny.
From Wednesday through Sunday was just absolutely stunning.
Yeah, got out all the patio furniture and
gorgeous.
And today it snowed.
It did. It did.
Yes. Welcome to Western New York.
It was hailing, which then turned into snow.
Yeah.
As I came home from work. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, and now it's chilly.
It is.
Yeah. But enough about the weather. Hey, another update. The Worcestershire sauce saga continues.
The Worcestershire sauce saga continues.
Yes.
Okay.
I got some more information from a listener, actually.
Oh.
Michelle Olander reached out to me to let me know that, yes, in some parts of Europe, Worcestershire sauce is known as Worcester sauce. No Shire.
Okay.
It turns out we were both right.
Okay.
I expected a more dramatic response to that.
Really?
Not really.
Okay, yeah, because there's nothing dramatic about that. Well, I thank Michelle for that information because I was unaware that that some parts of Europe leave the shear off of it.
But, yeah. So some people
fine.
just say Worcester sauce, and they probably say sauce. But yeah, and I had heard that before, and I thought, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, you are.
That somebody was actually saying Worcester sauce instead of Worcestershire sauce. But no, it's true.
Okay.
So I'm glad that's settled. I can, take that off my plate. It's been bothering me.
Seriously?
No.
Good, because I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, this weekend, we took a little trip up to Tonawanda Way.
Yeah, we did.
If you don't know where Tonawanda is, it's just north of Buffalo.
It is.
And we went to the Right to Rescue Summit up there with Wayne Hsiang. Mm-hmm. I think that's how you say his name. But before that, what did we do before that?
We stopped off at the vegan grocery store.
We did. What did we get there?
Well, you were jonesing for a breakfast sandwich.
I was.
So we got some breakfast sandwiches. And I believe we got the exact same breakfast sandwiches that we got the first time.
I think we did too.
Breakfast sandwiches.
I mean, there were other choices, and I should have went with something different. I almost got a stromboli instead.
It was too early in the day for a stromboli.
It was.
Yeah, no.
But I got the vegan bacon, vegan egg, and vegan cheese on an everything bagel.
Yep, and I got the sausage, egg, and cheese, all vegan, on an everything bagel. Mm-hmm. And they were delightful.
They were delicious. We ate them in the car outside of the vegan grocery store.
Yes.
We also picked up some discounted Easter candies.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a really good thing to know about, that after a holiday season, you want to head to the vegan grocery store to pick up some S-Jack's chocolate because you won't find it cheaper anywhere else.
No. And
so
that was confirmed by Gabby that runs the
certainly
vegan grocery
was.
store.
And so, yes. So if you are a fan of S-Jack's chocolate, and I would be shocked if you weren't,
mm-hmm.
and you're in the area, get to the vegan grocery store for some nice discounts on some Easter chocolates.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some caramel eggs and some peanut butter crunch eggs and some little bunnies with peanut butter filling and... Yeah, good stuff.
I did try one of the caramel eggs. Mm-hmm. Really good. Their caramel is really good.
Their caramel is fabulous.
Yeah. You say caramel or caramel? Caramel. Or caramel.
Well,
Here
now
we
you're
go.
making me think about it.
Tune in next week for the caramel saga.
I think I prefer caramel.
I think I say caramel. Caramel. But, it's one of those words, the more you say it, the more wrong it sounds.
I think I say caramel.
Caramel?
Yes. Pretty
not
sure.
Caramel.
No, not caramel. No, caramel. You're making me doubt myself.
I know.
I'm really annoying. Stop doing
I'm making
that.
me doubt my own self.
No, I'm sure it's caramel.
Yeah. When we were first talking about it, we both said caramel. But then I'm like, some people say caramel. And
Yes.
I've said caramel before. But I seem to leave caramel for caramels. Like those little square caramels.
Oh, but those are caramels.
Or like if you put it on ice cream, it's like a caramel sauce.
No, it's a caramel sauce.
So apparently I have different ways of saying caramel or caramel.
Depending on what
depending
the
on the
context
use.
is.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's fine.
Okay, I think
I'm sticking with
I
caramel.
think we've bored everyone long enough with
We've
our discussion.
certainly exhausted the subject. There's no question.
Anyway, the Right to Rescue Summit there at the Vegan Center, first of all, the setup was great. They had all kinds of vegan snacks and drinks set up for everybody. They did a raffle basket
From the vegan grocery store.
from the vegan grocery store. So to speak, it was to be Wayne Hsiang, Tracy Murphy of Asha Farm Sanctuary, and it was also supposed to be Jenny McQueen, who's a Toronto-based activist. But she was unfortunately stopped at the border and refused entry to the United States.
Yes, she was. She was refused entry because she was recently found guilty of obstruction and breaking and entering for exposing the deplorable conditions at a pig breeding facility in Quebec. So even though it was a peaceful occupation and documentation of the facility, and the family that ran it are no longer operating it as it has been shut down.
Yeah, as a result of their protest.
Yes, absolutely. As a result of protesters' actions, they were, however, charged with obstruction and breaking and entering and were found guilty. So she was not permitted to cross the border prior to her sentencing, which I believe is happening at the end of the month.
It was actually supposed to happen. It's funny, all these right to rescue cases, they seem to go through delay after delay after delay. So Jenny's case has been delayed. Her sentencing has been delayed until May 26th. And
okay.
I wanted to let people know that if you're in the Montreal area, there's actually going to be a rally at this courthouse in Montreal, May 26th at 8:15 a.m. And can you help me pronounce the courthouse because it's French?
It's the Longueuil.
The Longueuil
Courthouse.
Courthouse. Yeah. Yeah, so the border agents wouldn't let her in, so her partner, Peter, left her there at the border to go home.
Yes, because
And-
he was not arrested in this incident.
Yeah, so he came in her stead,
Yes.
which was really nice of him. Yeah, and so like Sam said, that the facility has since been shut down because of what they exposed, but the people running it are not charged with anything.
No.
Apparently they broke no laws, even though it was just deplorable conditions that
Right.
these animals were being held in. So we'll be keeping an eye on Jenny's case and see, we'll report back what's happening there. But
Absolutely. And for those of you who are interested in the specifics of that case, that has become known as the Poor Greg 12 case. So if you want to keep an eye on that. Also, of course, we heard from Tracy Murphy of Asha Farm Sanctuary, who has been charged with petty larceny for taking in 2 stray cows from a neighboring beef farm. And she is currently under a gag order. She cannot speak of the incident or of the case of her own free will. So those of you out there who are staunch supporters of Tracy's can definitely help us get the word out.
Yeah, she's not allowed to talk about the case. She basically just talked about her background, how she ended up starting a farm sanctuary and her history with the animals and veganism. And Wayne was the one that could talk a little bit about the case.
Right.
Because, because it's an active, ongoing case, they have to be careful about what they say. So.
Absolutely.
Then after the summit, there was a workshop where you can learn how to be more effective within the Right to Rescue movement. Mm-hmm. We were unable to stay for that workshop.
Yeah,
So-
that's unfortunate. I wish that we had been able to get more of that information, and I'll definitely be doing a little bit of research, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a really wonderful event. So thank you to Marcy at the Vegan Center 716 for hosting this wonderful event. Thank you to Wayne for his expertise and information that he gave.
Yeah.
Thank you to Tracy. Tracy, please know that we support you 100%, and we hope that your charges are dropped as soon as is humanly possible. Mm-hmm. And we look forward to that day.
We do, yeah. Thanks to everybody that was involved. I think Kate was involved,
Yep.
and there's so many people that were involved in setting this all up. And we just wanted to make sure that they know that we appreciated them setting that up, because it was a good thing.
It sure was.
Oh, I also wanted to talk for some reason about cooking for one. And I think it's because Sam was gone a couple of weekends ago. And it got me thinking that there are probably vegans out there that are cooking for themselves. And maybe they shouldn't fall into the trap that I usually fall into, which is I don't want to cook just for me. You know? And I usually end up like making quesadillas, or I usually end up not eating super healthily. I mean, I did make a stir fry the one night you were gone,
that's good.
Which is good. But if you are cooking for just yourself, I would highly recommend prepping. Like prepping your rices and beans and things like that in bulk, so that during the week you don't fall into the trap that I fall into. I'll just have a tortilla and cheese.
That's her favorate thing to eat
or
when
toast,
I'm not around.
Or toast or peanut butter sandwich, or I'm not getting my fiber. I'm not getting my greens.
Right.
And I don't know why. I tend not to want to make a full-on meal when I'm by myself. Mm-hmm. But if I had things on hand,
you would put them together.
It would encourage me to eat more healthily.
Yeah, I think it probably would. See, I don't have this issue. If you're not around, I actually relish the opportunity to make something for myself.
Yeah.
Because
I'm always in the kitchen.
You're always in the kitchen. Yeah. So I feel like, ooh, all right, she's gone. Opportunity. I can get to play in the kitchen. Woo! Yeah.
I won't get yelled at for being in the kitchen.
That's right. I won't get yelled at for being in the kitchen. Yeah, I mean, when you're gone, I mean, at the very least, I'm going to make myself a salad and top it with something.
Yeah.
I will probably never resort to the tortilla with cheese.
Yeah, you're much better at that.
Yeah. And I don't know why that is.
Well, like
maybe I just want to eat real food.
Yeah, there's that. You're probably just used to having real food because I cook real food for you all the time. But when
then
you're gone,
you would also be used to having real food because
I know, but
you cook real food for yourself.
Maybe it's just I look at it as, oh, wow, I don't have to cook.
Yeah, maybe.
But then I'm like, what am I going to eat?
Right. Well, but if cooking is ever feeling like a burden,
Oh, no, it doesn't feel like a burden. But when you're not here, a little part of my brain goes, oh, cool, I don't have to cook. But then I forget I do still have to feed myself.
You do.
And then I'm just like, I'll have a peanut butter sandwich.
Well, you could do worse than a peanut butter sandwich. But no, I agree that if, that I'm going to be away for a few days, or if like right now I'm in kind of a series of weeks where I have rehearsals in the evenings or things like that, where I'm not necessarily home for dinner every day, that you could just pre-cook.
Yeah.
So
well, there is some leftover curry. We had curry tonight.
We had a wonderful curry tonight. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
It was pretty good.
I loved it.
It wasn't one of my best curries, I don't think. But
well, like I said, they can't all be the best, because then none of them would be the best.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit for people who have to cook by themselves. And let me know if you fall into the same trap that I do, where you're just, having a sandwich or toast or something, because you just don't feel like cooking.
Well, next time I go away, which I believe is the first week of June,
right,
you'll have to do some prep before I leave.
I'll have to plan.
Or I'll prep for you.
It reminds me of when I was younger. If my mom ever went away, she had friends that lived out of town that she would visit.
Sure.
She would prep meals for my father because he wouldn't cook for himself while she was away. It was always so funny. When she'd leave, she would leave a list of the foods that she made, and she'd put them in the freezer or whatever. Heat yourself up this and that. I made this and that.
Right.
Like he, wasn't capable of feeding himself. So.
Well, I mean, you do take after your father, so
yeah.
Maybe that's the thing.
So maybe if you're planning on going away, you could prep some meals for me and leave them in the freezer.
Gladly. I would happily do that. Absolutely. I have no problem with that at all.
Hey, you want to move on to our recipe this week?
Sure. Let's move on to the Vegan Cookbook Challenge recipe of the week.
So this week, I made a recipe out of All right, this book, I keep coming back to it. I know we've used this book before, and we'll probably use it again because this is one of my favorite cookbooks of all the cookbooks we own. It's Epic Vegan by Dustin Harder, a.k.a. the Vegan Roadie. And the recipe I made this time out of Epic Vegan was the sweet potato waffles with cardamom butter.
Yeah, it was.
This was a fantastic recipe.
Oh my gosh. I mean, waffles are not something that I crave
No, me
or
neither.
anything. They're a nice treat. They're a really great kind of Sunday brunchy thing every once in a while. But oh my gosh, were these incredible.
They were so unique and flavorful, and this cardamom butter took them to the next level.
They really did, because within the sweet potato waffle, which, number one, sweet potato in waffles, that's genius.
Yeah.
It's just genius. It worked beautifully. And there's this wonderful hint of vanilla in the waffle as well that you get. And then combined with, a bit of maple syrup and the cardamom butter, the complexity of the flavor profile was just insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
It was. Dustin's recipes so reflect his personality.
I completely agree.
Because when I read his recipes, I'm like, really, Dustin? 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract? That seems excessive to me. I'm like, and Sam is like, follow the recipe. I'm like, I'm going to follow the recipe.
That's your job in the cookbook challenge.
But doesn't that sound like an
recipe.
excessive amount of vanilla extract? 2 tablespoons?
It sounds like a lot of vanilla,
well,
yes.
It totally was necessary for that vanilla to punch through all the other flavors.
Yes, it was.
And it wasn't super vanilla-y.
It was not.
There was just this hint of vanilla on the back end. I'm like, he's a genius.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I could not recommend Dustin's cookbooks more. Every vegan should have Epic Vegan and his other book. Actually, I think he has 3. I think there's one I don't have.
Uh-oh.
The other one that we have is the Epic Vegan Quick and Easy.
Right.
Which is great for quick
and easy meals, maybe.
Kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But weekday meals when you don't have a whole lot of time in the kitchen.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I have to give a little bit of credit to our friend Chrissy, who gave me a recipe a couple of years ago for her falafel waffles. And that's what inspired me to actually buy a waffle iron, because we didn't have a waffle iron. So a couple of months ago, I was talking to her about, she sent me a picture of her falafel waffles. She's like, here's the falafel waffles. They turned out great. And I'm like, that's so funny, because I have her recipe pinned to our refrigerator.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was just looking at your recipe. And we don't have a waffle iron, but I want to make them. And she said, oh, well, you need to get one like this. And she sent me a picture. I immediately went and bought one. And 2 days later, it came, and I made her falafel waffles, and they were fantastic.
Yes, they were.
Yeah. So now I think I'm going to start a little series. It might be a YouTube series. I think I'm going to do a Will It Waffle series.
I like it.
Yeah.
Will it waffle?
Yeah. And I'm just going to try and waffle a bunch of things.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I look forward to trying your Will It waffles.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be some epic fails.
Well, hey, that's part of the fun.
Which will be fun too, until you have to clean the waffle iron.
Well, yeah,
But I have a couple of ideas of things I want to waffle, and I might document it on YouTube.
Okay.
Could be fun.
Okay.
So watch for that.
You know what I want you to do as a waffle?
I'm afraid to ask.
Am I allowed to make a suggestion?
Sure.
Something similar to a lemon poppy seed muffin.
Lemon poppy seed waffles?
Yes.
That would be delicious.
I think so too.
All right. I'll put it on the Will It Waffle list.
Yes. We can make some lemon poppy seed waffles, maybe do some fresh strawberries on it.
Oh.
See?
Yeah. That sounds good.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah. Oh, so back to these waffles that we made.
Oh, yes.
Not to digress. I was going to keep moving forward.
No,
but
it's all good.
I wanted to say that what we did was we made a brunch.
Yes.
So I made a tofu scramble with spinach and a bunch of veg, and then had these waffles on the side with that amazing cardamom butter and a little bit of maple syrup.
Oh, the cardamom butter is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Christine will be making the cardamom butter just separately,
It's really good.
just to put on other things, because it
It
was
would just
so
be good on
delicious.
toast.
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
And don't you have some left over?
There is a little bit left over. Yeah.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Toast.
But there's also leftover waffles. So cool thing about leftover waffles, just pop
Freeze
them in the
them.
freezer, and then you can just pop them in the toaster, just like a frozen waffle. So there are some, there's some waffles in there.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. But yes, thank you, Dustin, for this spectacular recipe. It made our Sunday brunch just super, super special.
No, we raved and raved about that recipe.
For much of the day.
We did. Yeah. You want to move on to our noteworthy section?
I sure would. And I know that you've got an article here that you want to talk about. But before we get to that, I want to talk about something that I discovered as I was looking. We recently found out that one aspect of our summer plans has now changed. And so I was going back into the search for Veg Fests to see if there was anything that we had decided we couldn't do that we now could do because of this change in plans. Mm-hmm. And as I was looking, I, of course, managed to confirm that both the Pittsburgh Veg Fest and the Pittsburgh Vegan Expo are not available to us because of other conflicts.
Yeah.
But I found out that there is a third vegan event, and this is a full weekend event that is held in Pittsburgh, and it's called Vegan Summerfest. Now, Vegan Summerfest is a conference, and it's held at the Conference Center at Pitt Johnstown, which is a 650-acre mountaintop wildlife preserve with 40 acres of hiking trails.
Oh, that sounds neat.
Right? Like, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to go. And we can't go because it's the same weekend of Trey and Savannah's wedding, and, we can't miss that. That's non-negotiable.
No, not negotiable.
There's no negotiating to be had there. But it's a full 4 days of speakers and workshops and events. And the speakers are just an incredibly illustrious group. Of course, you have Michael Greger, my personal favorite plant-based doctor.
He is so fun. If you have an opportunity to see Michael Greger speak live, do it.
Do it. It is so worth it. He is so engaging and so entertaining and so just right on the money with everything he has to say.
Yeah.
I know I've said it before, but I just absolutely adore Michael Greger.
He's easy to love.
He really is.
Yeah.
Also easy to love, we've got Neil Barnard.
Yeah.
Also to love, we've got Kim Allen Williams, who is a cardiologist. We've got Jane Esselstyn. We've got Ruby Lathon.
Oh, Jane Esselstyn.
Right? We've got Juliana Heaver. We've got Dawn Hilton Williams, Robert Brakey, Victoria Moran, Maribeth Abrams, Milton Mills, another of my favorites.
Yeah.
I do love me some Milton Mills.
It's a veritable who's who.
It is. Ed Adams, Chip Ballou, Carol H. Barnett, Ted D. Barnett, Harold Brown, Jeffrey Cohen, Ann Dinsha, Freya Dinsha, Mylan Engel Jr., Joanne Farb, Serena Farb, Lee Hall, Sharon Jacks, Ellen Jaffe-Jones, Kathleen Kinsolving, Joanne Kong, Vance Lemuckle, Bob Leroy, Sally Lepiski, Jill Nussenow. Like, the list goes on and on and on and on.
It does go on and on.
Crazy. The number of people who will be speaking and presenting information and hosting workshops in this 4-day fest. So if you are anywhere near the Pittsburgh area or can travel there easily and you have the resources to register for Vegan Summerfest, I highly recommend that you do the fees. The registration fees cover not only the attendance at the conference, but housing and all vegan meals.
That's really great.
Yes.
Does it say how much the registration fee is?
It does. If you register by the 30th of April, okay, which is coming up, and you take a double room, the 4 days, including meals, housing, and registration, is $891.
Ooh. Well, that's a chunk of change.
It is a chunk of change. It's not an inexpensive trip.
No,
absolutely not. But I do think that given the incredible array
and it's 4 days, so yes. I mean, it seems on par with something like something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's outrageous.
No, it's not exorbitant. It is quite a bit of money, but
yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, given the incredible list of speakers and experts who will be on hand. It could be well worth it.
Yeah, it seems like a pretty decent event.
Absolutely. And so I was just excited to find it because I had never heard of it before. So
No, it doesn't say, is this their first year? I haven't heard of it either.
I do not think it is the first year.
Interesting. It's funny how some things just slip by your radar, you know?
And also, if you would like to know, there are off-campus rates as well. So if you don't want to stay on campus and you don't want to purchase their meal plan, you can attend the entire 4-day festival for $307.
Oh, that's more reasonable if you know
Yes.
somebody that lives in the area.
Yes.
If you stayed in a hotel, it would be pretty,
6 of 1.
pretty equal to
Yeah.
what they're charging. But if you know somebody that lives there, or if you're in the area, that's pretty reasonable for a 4-day event.
Absolutely. And if you wanted to go just for the weekend, again, with off-campus registration, that's $170.
Oh, totally doable.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks for that.
No problem. My pleasure. I was just excited to find it, and I'm sorry that we can't go, but, we've got a wedding to celebrate.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Looking forward to that.
Me too.
Oh, so the other thing that I had on the Noteworthy section was something that I meant to talk about last week in our news section, and somehow we skipped past it. There is a local cafe owner in the UK who converted a community cafe to a solely vegan cafe, and apparently they're suffering a lot of backlash from the locals about it. Anna Southwell and her staff have been abused a dozen times for not selling bacon sandwiches and other traditional foods since they opened the plant-based cafe Sprout in Weston-super-Mare last June. The previous occupant closed the summer-only business during the pandemic and had previously served up items like hot dogs and burgers, according to Miss Southwell. The 44-year-old who runs Weston's other vegan restaurants, Loves is the name of her other vegan restaurant, and she runs it with her partner Josh Mousley, decided to speak out after a man sought her out at Loves last Thursday. Anna said, a man shouted at me as soon as he entered the cafe. He wanted to know what I was doing with the cafe in Grove Park. He said he'd come to tell me what everyone was thinking, how it was disgusting that we'd opened a vegan business and how we should shut it down. He told me it should be reopened as it was before because no one's going to go there and it wasn't very good.
Wow.
Yeah. I asked him who he was and why he was there, and he said he was here on behalf of the people of Weston to tell me what everyone was saying.
Oh, wow.
So this sounds like it's a small community.
Yes.
If everybody is saying that this vegan restaurant is just ruining their lives. Miss Southwell, who has run Loves for the past 14 years, said she managed to take a photograph of the man to document it before he left. The incident is about the 12th time members of the public have abused her and her staff for selling vegan food, and the first time someone has sought her out at her other vegan businesses. Even more worrying is the fact that the business employs some marginalized or vulnerable staff, like refugees, autistic adults, and people who are recovering from drug and alcohol issues, and often work alone. So this woman sounds like she's doing great things for the community,
Sure
and
does.
they are not appreciating it at all. She says her staff does not deserve it. We've worked really hard to set up a vegan business. Now when they're working in what should be a beautiful location in the park surrounded by nature, they've got members of the public coming in and shouting at them for no reason. It's abusive, it's harassment, and it's having a really negative impact on us. And it has to stop now.
Yes, it does.
Can you believe that?
I mean, I don't find it hard to believe, sadly.
I just can't. Why are people so emotionally invested in bacon sandwiches to the point where they're going to scream at a woman who's running a cafe
I don't know.
manned by marginalized people in the community?
I don't know. I mean, I really just think that it's the way we are socialized from the time we are very, very young.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there who don't particularly enjoy change and are afraid of that which is new or that which they don't understand. And so, going to a cafe that used to serve bacon sandwiches but doesn't anymore, can feel like a disruption.
Yeah.
I don't think it's cause for meanness or harassment or abuse or violence of any kind, but I can understand the feeling, I suppose.
I suppose. She goes on to say we're not doing it to offend anyone. We're doing it because we want to make our part of the world a better place. And she said there's no problem getting a bacon sandwich in West End. There are probably 200 places within a mile radius where you can get a bacon sandwich, but we're not selling them.
Yes.
So why don't these people just go someplace else to get their bacon sandwiches?
Well, again, it's just a disruption to habit.
I guess so. Huh? So they're used
Or
to
at least
going
that's
to
my guess, is that it's just a disruption to habit.
Yeah.
You know, the things that this man, has depended on, that he could go to the park and get his bacon sandwich at this specific cafe in the spring and summertime, that's not possible anymore. And it disrupts his sense of the world.
Ruining his life.
Well...
You know what? He should just try a vegan bacon sandwich. It's good. It's better for him.
Well, that'd be
He
great.
might be surprised.
I agree with you completely, but I'm just saying, in the meantime, I don't think he should use his dismay at this disruption as an excuse to abuse his fellow human beings.
No, just don't behave badly like that. I mean... I don't run into McDonald's and scream at people for, scream at the employees because they're serving animal products,
Well, why would you? Yeah. No, that would be completely inappropriate.
It would be.
Yes.
Anyway.
So I'm very glad that you're not doing that. Thank you for assuring me that you are not going into McDonald's and yelling at employees for serving animal products.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
Okay, good.
But I could.
I'm not saying you couldn't, but I'm very glad that you won't.
I guess I just don't understand people sometimes. I mean, what goes through a person's mind when he actually seeked this woman out at another restaurant of hers just to yell at her and tell her everybody hates you because you're serving vegan food.
Well, again, I can't attest to the man's state of mind.
No, I think there might be something wrong with him.
Oh, well, no, that's not fair to say. Quit being judgy.
Yeah. Well, we feel bad. We feel bad for
We
them.
do. We really do. And we hope that the situation improves for Anna and her staff.
Yeah. Because like she said, all they're trying to do is improve the world that they're living in,
That's right.
So I'm wondering if this isn't a big agricultural town. It kind of sounds like it might be.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I just wanted to touch on that because we skipped over it last week in the news.
We did. I'm sorry. That was my fault, actually. I missed it and moved on to the happy stuff.
I didn't notice it either until I was putting the notes away. And I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about the cafe that was suffering backlash from people in her community. So there's that. And I'll link to the article if you want to read about it.
Sounds good.
That brings us to our main topic. Our main topic today, I wanted to talk a little bit, because we touched on it last week, about Reducetarianism and whether or not vegans should be supporting Reducetarianism, or, what sort of thoughts should we be having on people pushing the Reducetarianism agenda?
Well, personally, I think that the perspective should not be a we perspective. I think that every vegan and every human should have their own perspective on this. I don't think it is appropriate for us to be suggesting that other people should think in a specific way.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm just saying that the vegan movement, should the vegan movement as a whole be for Reducetarianism or not? Because there seems to be, even myself, I am totally on the fence about the whole thing. Mm-hmm.
And why are you sitting on the fence?
I'm sitting on the fence because, number one, Reducetarianism seems like a good thing.
Okay.
It seems like a good way to usher people into the world of veganism.
Okay.
Just eat less animal products. Do your best to eat less animal products, like the whole meatless Mondays and all that. Mm-hmm. And then there's another part of me. It's like I have two. I have a little vegan on one shoulder and a little other vegan on the other shoulder.
A vegan and another vegan?
I couldn't think of another.
Okay.
Anyway, and another part of me is like, no, we need to be not encouraging people to be reducetarian. We need to be encouraging people to go full on vegan.
Well, I agree that ideally folks would be inclined to go full on vegan.
Yeah.
However, and I think I said this last week, was that any step in the right direction is a step in the right direction. And so I think it would be counterproductive for the vegan movement to come out as being wholesale against reducetarianism.
Right. There are segments of the vegan movement that are.
And I'm sure that they see it as not much better as being an omnivore full time.
Yeah.
But I just think that that's a little bit narrow-minded. And
I think I agree with that.
We need to allow some grace for those who are making an effort and who, for one reason or another, can't seem to get to fully vegan immediately. I don't see that as being a problem. Everyone's process is different. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's experience is different. Everyone's needs are different. So I don't think that the vegan movement as a whole needs to think in one particular way about this. I, as probably any other vegan would, I would love it if the world would go vegan. But at the same time, I acknowledge how unrealistic that probably is, at least in the immediate future. So anyone who is willing to take a step towards reducing the harm that is caused to all beings, human and non-human, and to the environment through the consumption of animal products, they're my friend.
Yeah.
They're my brother. They're my sister.
Yeah, I can get with that. Tobias Leenaert, he's the author of Creating a Vegan World.
Which is a wonderful book, by the way. If you haven't read it, you really, really should.
He makes a good point when he says that every social justice movement, and if you think of veganism as a social justice movement, which it is, every social justice movement has had to make compromises.
Of course.
In order to get to what their goals are.
Yes.
Right? And he has a great article on his webpage, and his webpage is theveganstrategist.org, where he talks about how compromise is not the same as complicity.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's acknowledging that, in order to get a result, frequently both sides have to move a little bit from what their ideals are to have any chance of making any progress whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I agree with Tobias Leenaert on that. Absolutely.
And he breaks it down. In this article, he talks about how different movements in the past have had to compromise. Historically, different movements have had to compromise. And then he breaks it down into like 4 reasons why vegans should welcome the reducetarian compromise. Mm-hmm. He says compromise is fundamental for social change. Change is human and it's a process. Let's skip the whole pointless discussion of people's motives. So we've had that conversation before. Do we care why people go vegan? No, right? We only care that they are trying to go vegan.
That's right. And quoting Mr. Leenaert, if our goal is truly to reduce animal consumption as quickly as possible, then the solution is to create a mass market for our ideas, similar to the way Apple or Coke or Disney creates a mass market for its products. By definition, that means welcoming people with diverse motives.
Yeah. And his 4th and final reason, which it seems like his strongest reason, is the vegan movement's immediate goal should be to create billions of reducetarians.
That would do it.
A current popular abolitionist-type graphic shows cows lined up waiting to be slaughtered with the caption, "Baby steps are cool." Well, just wait on this line until you embrace veganism. The truth, however, is that the Reducetarianism actually offers the best hope of saving those cows. If everyone in the U.S. reduced their meat consumption by just the modest target of 1 meal per week, around 5%, that would save around 450 million cows and other animals each year in the U.S. alone.
To achieve the same result, the abolitionists would have to convert approximately 4.5 million meat eaters to complete veganism, based on the oft-cited statistic that a vegan saves 100 animal lives per year.
So I will also link to this article because he makes some really, really good points that helped me get that other vegan off of my shoulder. The one that says, no, reducetarianism is a cop-out kind of situation, and that we need to encourage people to take the full leap to being completely vegan.
Well, yes, I think that leap should be encouraged, but it should also be understood that some folks just can't quite make it the whole way now.
Like he says, in humans, change is it's a process.
Absolutely, it's a process. It's like I can get you on an inverted roller coaster as long as it's indoors.
Right.
But I can't get you on an inverted roller coaster if you can see it.
Yeah, so as far as roller coasters go, I am a reducetarianist.
Yes, you are definitely a reducetarian, and I am most definitely an omnivore when it comes to roller coasters.
You are full-on roller coasterer.
It's true. Yes, but so, I think allowances need to be made for each person's individual situation, and like I said, any baby step towards the common good is still a step.
Yeah,
and I'll take it.
He makes a good point by saying that there are a lot of people out there with enormous credibility and influence who, even if they don't share our goal of global veganism, can do a lot to help the vegan movement.
Absolutely.
And that is true. And you don't want to discourage those people from helping the movement by being too forceful,
That's right.
Too forceful in saying
it's
all or nothing
too close-minded.
situation. Yeah.
You have to allow for different points of view.
All right. Well, I guess we see where we land on that then.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I know where I land on it. I don't have a vegan on each shoulder,
No, I think I knocked the other one off.
Oh, did you?
I think so.
Okay.
Oh, hey, we've come to our 72 reasons to be vegan. Want to give us one?
I would love to. And, I spent some time over the weekend just going through this book and trying to figure out exactly which reasons I've already used because I wasn't keeping track. Shame on me.
Yeah, you should have been putting a Post-it or something in there.
Yeah, well, now I've dog-eared pages and all of that good stuff.
People, let us know if this is a reason you've heard before.
My reason, not my reason, once again, I have to give credit where credit is due. This reason to be vegan is coming from Gene Stone and Kathy Freston from their wonderful book, 72 Reasons to be Vegan, Why Plant-Based, Why Now? And this week's reason is number 59. Meat is the new tobacco. If you watched the TV show Mad Men or any movie set before the 1970s, chances are that your favorite stars were smoking like chimneys in just about every scene. Before breakfast, at the office, before sex, after sex, in bed while reading, and so on. Few understood that they were effectively mainlining carcinogens into their bodies and, with every inhalation, damaging their lungs. This was all because the tobacco industry was hiding the truth from the world. Today, we have a similar situation with meat. Tobacco companies created a safe, pro-smoking image in ads depicting ruggedly handsome cowboys smoking while perched on their horses and glamorous, responsible-looking mothers sharing cigarettes with their gossip. But smoking wasn't just made to look cool, it was made to look healthy, too. One of the most infamous phrases in advertising history has to be that cigarettes are doctor recommended.
Oh, yeah. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Lark or whatever they used to say in those old ads.
I don't remember those ads.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm showing my age, I guess.
You are, but that's okay. There were ads that touted smoking's weight-reducing effects, not to mention one that the cigarette giant Philip Morris ran featuring a physician who said after prescribing cigarettes to patients with irritated throats, yes, prescribing cigarettes, each case of irritation cleared completely or definitely improved. The tobacco industry spent big money to create this facade of wholesomeness, and for decades the public bought in. Even after science had documented the deadly effects of tobacco, cigarette companies flooded the airwaves with pseudoscience claiming otherwise. They obfuscated ad nauseum, and people continued to smoke. Thanks to the addictive nature of tobacco products, nearly 1 billion people worldwide still do. Yes, 1 billion. Now, think about how we've done an about-face on smoking and how it all seems so obvious now. We may just be in that same beginning stage of a reversal on meat consumption. Today, doctors, most of whom receive very little nutrition training during medical school, tend to recommend you get ample protein through animal sources. Blogs and podcasts everywhere are touting the ways of the trendy and deadly keto diet. The science has long since been in on how detrimental meat and dairy is for us, and it's likely that animal food probably kills a lot more people than tobacco does. The biggest killers of our time, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and certain cancers, are all linked to animal consumption, and people who eat a plant-based diet have much lower risks of all 4. Why aren't we hearing strong warnings to steer clear of animal food? Because just as with the tobacco industry, there's big money in meat. And those special interests invest in scientific papers that twist the results to make it sound like meat, eggs, and dairy aren't so bad for you. If you're wondering about the validity of any study, look to see who's funded it. If it's something supported by the National Egg Association or the Cattlemen's Beef Association, take a wild guess what the results of the study will show. Their product is healthy. How convenient.
It's a good comparison. I would definitely say that the meat industry definitely aligns with the tobacco industry and the pharmaceutical industry in the fact that they have enough money to pay for studies that will say the things they want to say about their product.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, governmental institutions that directly influence policy, such as dietary guidelines that schools and medical institutions are supposed to follow, are presided over by lobbyists of major food producers. It's hard to find the real truth in all the pseudoscience that's out in the public domain, but fruits and vegetables do not have the same well-funded lobbyists twisting the dietary science, and they sure aren't causing obesity and heart disease. Big broccoli and big kale are not out to swindle you into shopping in the produce aisle. We're not yet at the point where bacon and eggs are seen as the health equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarettes, but we're getting there. Future generations will look back on how we ate animal foods and wonder, what were we thinking? Just like we look at our grandparents and wonder how in the world they thought it was okay to smoke 3 packs a day.
And it's a good one.
It is a good one. And I thought it was particularly pertinent, seeing as both you and I are former smokers.
We're both former smokers. Yeah. I've lost both of my parents to probably smoking related illnesses. Mm-hmm. I quit smoking shortly after my dad passed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing? Because right after my dad passed, I was smoking more because of the nerves and,
of course,
grief and all that jazz. And I was smoking my dad's roll your own tobacco.
It was awful.
It was terrible. But I think it helped me. It was his way of helping me quit.
I agree.
Here is this crappy tobacco that I used to roll my own cigarettes with.
Yep.
Go ahead and smoke these for a while, and you'll not want to smoke again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It did. Totally worked. Totally turned me off of smoking. But I really quit smoking by picking up vaping.
Yep.
And that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other thing.
But, and that's a whole other kind of government overreach thing that's happening. It's a whole other conversation.
Yep.
And recently we just watched the series on, is that on HBO or Hulu? Dope Sick.
It was on Hulu.
On Hulu. Highly recommend it. It's about the Sackler family and
Purdue Pharma and the
Oxycontin
and the opioid crisis.
Yeah, it's a really well done series.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is kind of at the center of it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just really wonderful. Yeah, fantastic. I, on the other hand, when I was ready to quit smoking, I quit a year or so after Christine did, I think. Mm-hmm. And once I did, it was cold turkey. It just... Yeah,
Sam's, you have much more willpower.
I just found it was just the right time.
So I'm glad we don't smoke. And
so glad we don't smoke anymore.
Yeah, we will never go back to
We will not.
that.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Just like we will not go back to eating meat.
Right. We're just reducing harm all over the place, man.
Check us out.
Yeah.
We're cool.
We're the harm reduction twins.
God, really?
Just reducing harm wherever we go. It's like it's kind of like
that
the
should be
Wonder
our
Twins.
Right. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Should we have like superhero capes and stuff like
Yeah,
that?
we're like the Wonder Twins.
All right.
Form of veganism. Shape of ex-smoker. Wonder Twin powers activate. Does anybody remember the Wonder Twins?
I totally remember the Wonder Twins.
You still love them.
Yes. Yes. A friend of mine and I were, we were the Wonder Twins during a piece that we performed while we were both in college. And
so backstage, you were the Wonder Twins, or
oh well, no, on stage
even
we
on
were the
stage?
Wonder Twins because we were very similar in height and we have similar build and our hair was very similar.
Right.
So, yeah. So we stood next to each other in this dance. So it's like we were the Wonder Twins. Yeah.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's time for your favorite part of the show.
All right. It must be listener shout out time.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
So this week, our listener shout out goes to Jacqueline Capello. So this is our second Jacqueline in a row.
I know 2 Jacquelines in a row.
Go figure.
Although Jacqueline Capello spells her name much different than the Jacqueline we talked about last week.
This is true. Yes. So Jacqueline initially went vegan for health reasons and is now an active animal advocate and vegan community leader in central New York. She's also on the Syracuse Veg Fest team. She's a loving mother, avid hiker, and just a really cool person who we are looking forward to getting to know better as we join the Syracuse Veg Fest team this year.
Yeah, we will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, for listening. And you probably already know this, but your last name means hat in Italian.
Yes, you're Jacqueline Hat.
Please email us or DM us your t-shirt size and address so that I can get you a swag bag.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to say more and then there was a silence. So
Thanks for listening, Jacqueline.
Yes, thank you.
That brings us to housekeeping.
Keep the house.
All right. We want your favorite recipes, people. I want to start a new thing where we're doing 1 week out of a cookbook, 1 week out of our kitchen, and 1 week out of your kitchen. So send me your recipes. We're going to start a segment called Listener Recipes, appropriately named. So you can email us or DM us any of your vegan recipes that you want us to make and try, and we'll talk about them on the show. They don't have to be original recipes. They could be, from a blog or something you found online or something that's been in your family. But if you're willing to share it, I'm willing to make it and talk about it.
Sounds great.
So send them along.
Yes, please do. As usual, we are still running our Food Not Bombs fundraiser on our Buy Me a Coffee site. That is www.buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers. And why are you laughing at me?
It always cracks me up that you put the W's in because it's like we're new to this whole World Wide Web thing. I don't think you need to put the W's in anymore. I think everybody knows that a website starts with the W's.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm just not assuming that everybody has the extensive knowledge that you do.
Oh, that's just so... I don't know. It just cracks me up every time you're like, www.
Oh, maybe I like saying W.
I think you do.
It's entirely possible.
I think that's really what the case is.
Well, anyway, so to appease Christine, you can do that at our Buy Me a Coffee site, which is buymeacoffee.com/cucumbers. As any proceeds from this fundraiser will be going to assist the Buffalo chapter of Food Not Bombs. They are a phenomenal organization who provide vegan meals for vegans suffering from food insecurity.
Yeah, and hey, follow Sam's Etsy site. Check out the site and follow it. When you follow the site, you'll be notified when new stuff goes up on it. Her site is Cucumber Craftworks. So check it out on Etsy. It's www. No,
oh, good Lord.
Just go to etsy.com/cucumber craftworks and take a look at her store and take a look at her beautiful knit scarves, handmade jewelry, bead art, all kinds of stuff on there. And it's all vegan. And she makes it with lots of love.
I do. I have to admit.
She puts the love in.
I put the love right in.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, also, we want to hear from you. So email or DM us show ideas, cookbook recommendations, recipes you love, or subjects you'd like us to touch on in future episodes.
You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe and click the little bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. I just put out a short today about us finding the Baby Bell vegan cheese snacks.
Yeah, you did.
The little round ones with the wax covering, which still have to find out what that wax covering is made out of.
Well, yeah, there's that. But, you
Yeah.
know, and if you're not interested in the Baby Bell cheese, just check out the video because you'll get to see our really cute little Manx bobcat Chirpus.
Chirpy makes
He makes
video
an appearance.
bombed me while
Yeah.
I was filming. So yeah, Chirpy makes an appearance.
Yeah,
So
he's cute.
yeah, so subscribe to our YouTube.
There you go. Want to get a listener shout out? Well, send us a DM or an email letting us know you listen and tell us a little bit about yourself.
And join our Patreon. I've added all kinds of recipes up there for our patrons, and I'll be adding some fun behind-the-scene videos. The link's always in the show notes if you want to join the community there.
You can go ahead and leave us a review on your podcast app if it allows. And I've heard rumors that sometimes
Just leave us 5
podcast
stars. We're not going to go on about it.
Finally, she breaks. Oh my gosh, I was wondering how long this was going to go on.
If you think we deserve it, please leave us a 5-star review.
That would be cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do the next one too. So go ahead and share the show or our social media with friends or family members that you think would enjoy what we do. It is the easiest way to support us or any of your favorite content creators, and it costs you nothing at all.
And finally, join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub. The AFA is the Agriculture Fairness Alliance, and they are in Washington right now lobbying on our behalf. So sign up for the Vegan Voter Hub so that they can tell politicians in D.C. how many vegans there are in their constituency, and we can make the change that we need to make on the upcoming farm bill.
Absolutely.
Do it. Okay, now I've come up with a sign-off.
It's a little wordy.
Let me know what you think of this one.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to the Compassion and Cucumbers Vegan Podcast. Remember to spread kindness, choose to be cruelty-free, and always keep some cucumbers in your fridge. Tune in next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a great week. We love you. Bye! It's a work in progress.
Most definitely. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks a lot. We do love you. And bye!
The end.
Do you want to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast? Well, you can do that by joining our Patreon page. We have 3 different levels of support, and all 3 come with their own special bonuses. Hey, you can support the podcast and get yourself some really cool merch. All the links and deets are in the show notes. We'll catch you next week on the next episode of Compassion and Cucumbers.